us all. You burn the road and saved us.
Bonjour et bienvenue dans ce deuxième numéro d'Autoplay Sample. Aujourd'hui on ne parlera pas des sorties CD mais on va regarder un reportage sur Video Games Live, le grand concert de musique de jeux vidéo qui a eu lieu en novembre dernier à Paris au Palais des Congrès. Voilà, on regarde ça tout de suite.
Suite au succès rencontré lors de l'édition 2008, c'est sans surprise que le concert de musique de jeu Video Games Live fit son retour au Palais des Congrès à Paris le 21 novembre 2009. Au programme, des musiques de jeu interprétées par l'orchestre français Star Pop Orchestra et des surprises en tout genre pour satisfaire les nouveaux spectateurs comme ceux de l'an dernier. Si Jack Wall, compositeur des bandes originales de Myst 3 et 4, de Jade Empire ou des 2 épisodes de Mass Effect entre autres, dirigeait l'orchestre, Tommy Tallarico, quant à lui, était davantage là pour chauffer la salle. Ce dernier, qui a également composé pour un nombre de jeux conséquents comme Aladdin, Cool Spot ou encore Maximo, a commencé sa carrière de manière plutôt amusante.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a video game composer for over 20 years, and my whole life, my two greatest loves, always growing up, were video games and music. But I never thought that I'd ever put the two together because growing up in the 70s and early 80s, there was no such thing as a video game composer. So, but I moved out to California when I was 21 years old, and the first day I was there, I got a job selling keyboards. And on my first day, I was wearing a video game T-shirt, and I was homeless. Actually, I didn't have a place to stay. I had no money, nothing. And the first person who walked in was a video game producer. And he hired me there on the spot, so I was in California 3 days, and I was in the video game industry, and that was over 20 years ago, and I love it. It's my two greatest passions.
Alors que les concerts de musique de jeu existent au Japon depuis les années 80, il faudra finalement attendre les années 2000 pour qu'un projet de la sorte voie le jour en Occident.
Well, you know, as you said, we mentioned we were both composers, and the reason we created Video Games Live together is that we really wanted to prove to the world how culturally significant and artistic video games have become. Our goal is to reach everybody. And there's 3 elements that make up a video game, not just the music. Obviously there's the music, but there's also the visuals and the graphics, and then there's also the interactivity and the gameplay and the design, So those 3 things, so we wanted to incorporate all 3 of those things to really celebrate the whole video game industry. Not just the great music, that's a big element of our show, but it's not the only thing that makes up a video game. It's the music, it's the visuals, and it's the interactivity. Video games live. See, now it all makes sense why we called it that.
Yeah, we like the interactive element too. We always try to have a number of segments in the show where we get the audience involved, bring some people up on the stage. So people aren't just sitting there passively. Video games aren't a passive medium. You're actually playing something, you're doing something. So as much as possible, we like to inject that into the show as well.
Have a great reception. This year we sold more tickets and there's more people. So Video Games Live is one of those things that it's really word of mouth. We really appreciate the French people coming out and helping us, to live our dream, which is to spread video game music around the world.
Cette année encore, Tommy et Jack étaient accompagnés du jeune pianiste Martin Lung, surnommé The Video Game Pianist, après avoir publié des vidéos où il jouait les yeux bandés sur YouTube.
I just played some Mario music, and I was surprised at how many people around the world saw the video, and I was contacted to perform in the show.
Cette édition présentait son lot d'animations, de nouvelles chansons et de surprises, comme une conversation en temps réel sur Skype avec Ralph Baer, le père des jeux vidéo, ou encore la fanfare des lapins crétins venus tout droit des Balkans. On regrette cependant que le nombre de musiciens présents sur scène n'ait pas augmenté, puisque l'événement proposait toujours la petite formation, c'est-à-dire environ 25 musiciens accompagnés par une bande-son, au lieu d'un orchestre complet avec 80 personnes.
We've done over 150 shows in over 14 countries on 5 continents. So we have grown quite a bit in the last few years. We started with 3 shows, and this year we're up to about 60. And so we keep growing. And the way that we perceived this thing to move along was that we would always add more and more segments to the show. And we're going to actually debut Assassin's Creed 2 here in Paris for the very first time. So great score by Jesper Kyd.
You know, with some of the new stuff, like what we do is every show when we go back to a market, you know, we have a place on our website, videogameslive.com, where people can sign up and tell us what country they're from and what games they want to hear. So we'll look at that data. We'll talk to local journalists in the area, but mostly, you know, after every show, the 3 of us, we do a meet and greet. And so we, you know, and then I keep a list of paper, and they'll, you know, people come by and I'll ask them, well, what do you want to hear next time? What didn't we play? And, you know, so we do a lot of research. And then we also will take local developers. And the other thing as well, for people who saw the show last year, is that we're always changing the production of the show as well. You know, that's something. So every year you come back, you get something new.
Bien sûr, une soirée ne suffit pas pour jouer l'intégralité du répertoire, et on regrettera la disparition de thèmes comme celui de Sonic, au profit d'une présence quelque peu envahissante des productions Square Enix. On se doute bien que parmi tous les titres, quelques-uns sont les petits chouchous des organisateurs.
Sure. I mean, for me, it's, you know, I'm a big Castlevania fan, and we wanted to do something a little different. We actually used to play a symphonic version, like it's just a straight symphonic version of Castlevania. And, you know, me and Jack, we put it in the show, and it was like, ah, man, there's just something missing. It just didn't have that oomph, and you know, I'm a big fan of like Van Halen and rock and roll guitar. It's kind of, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and so we decided, let's do like a hard rock version of it, and the symphony as well, but have it mostly be like guitar based. And so we put that together, and it really is just night and day, you know. And you know, people they screaming and they're going crazy and stuff. So that's a really fun one for me personally, because I'm such a big fan of the series and kind of how we, you know, took it in a different direction. You know?
I like from the past. I just like the Mario music because it's just a lot of fun. World of Warcraft is one of my favorites as well because it's so powerful, and I love conducting it. It's a really tricky one to conduct, and you know, it's just a lot of fun.
I enjoy the Final Fantasy pieces and the medleys. There's a lot of great music.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you so much for supporting video game music, and you know, I think video games have become the entertainment of choice for the 21st century, and I think video game music is going to keep evolving into our culture. And you know, thanks for coming out and supporting video game music and Video Games Live, and we really appreciate it. It makes make our dream come true, and hopefully we can do the same for you.
On espère encore une fois que le succès rencontré par Video Games Live permettra à d'autres événements consacrés à la musique de jeu de venir en France, comme les concerts Play, Distant Worlds, Extra ou encore Symphonic Shades, qui possèdent tous une approche bien différente.
Voilà, ce deuxième numéro d'Autoplay Sample vient de se terminer. J'espère que le reportage vous a plu. On se retrouve dans 2 semaines pour les sorties CD et d'autres rubriques. À bientôt!
We're happy you made it, but how are you gonna spend the rest of this day? Maybe watch a video, maybe press refresh and start again.